And we're off. It is ATB at the buzzer, atbshow.com if you want to hop over to YouTube and enjoy other shows like this one. God help all of you. Above and beyond that, every morning you get Rubber Shoes doing the Rubber Shoes rant and wrap up. And that is on Instagram. So if you go to our Instagram account, you'll see all of those updates on a regular basis. If you want to scroll through some old footage, you're welcome to do that. And if you go into our bio on Instagram, you'll see our link tree, which is ultimately Linktree, which is linktr.ee/ATB show. That'll get you to the page with all of our social media. So welcome in. My name is Timmy. You've got Rubber Shoes, Billy Corey, and Little Shoes, Tyler Corey. And it's just us. So I understand that in my absence, we had some people on the intertubes that were concerned that we finally talked about baseball. Don't worry, we're going to talk about the not sweep tonight. That is for sure. But ultimately, it's unfortunately the three people on the show that probably talk the most, I think, are here. So it's going to be action packed with a word salad tonight on ATB. But again, we appreciate you joining us for the show. If you're enjoying the content, please subscribe on YouTube. If while you're on YouTube, you've got your 2 cents. You don't like the farmer's tan that Little Shoes is rocking right now. If you're annoyed that Rubber Shoes has too many.
Damn, you didn't change your shirt today. Damn.
What's that?
You didn't change his shirt for the show.
Oh yeah.
He could do that now, and the ratings would plummet. Yes, a shirtless
Boot it off. Boot it off.
So we've got Uncle Dukes and Adam are both on assignment this week. So you're with Timmy and Tyler and Billy, and we're gonna get right into it. First things first.
Welcome back, Tim.
I appreciate that, buddy. I appreciate that. Yeah, I feel like Adam and I are trading places because I just got back from the Cape and now he's down at the Cape. We joked about the fact that your family, my family, Adam's family, we're all Cape people. Nothing more masshole than going to the Cape for the summer at some point. So we was a challenge with the weather for sure. We made the best of it. Once you go over that, to me, going over that bridge is cathartic. Like if it's snowing, I don't care. I'm still at the Cape. So
yes,
something magical about going over the bridge. Yep. As my wife joked, there was a meme on social media, and it was that with that song in the background, hey, I'm on vacation. And it's like, because I love my occupation, and the music settles down and the mother's like, I'm not on vacation. I'm a mom. I just bring the family, and now there's sand. Which is exactly how Janina feels about the Cape. She would much rather do lake and mountains. Like she'd rather be in like Chickenboro at Lake Winnipesaukee or anywhere else. She doesn't hate the Cape. Hate's a strong word. She's I was talking about something this morning with somebody and Janina's dislike for them. And I said, well, I'm not going to say hate. She's challenged by their existence. So I think for her, she is challenged by the existence of our annual Cape Cod vacation because #sand. But anyway, we had a good time. We are back and we are into it. First and foremost, where do we think Dame is going? I thought by the time we got to airtime, it would be a done deal because I heard massive rumors. And I think a lot of people are talking that he's going to end up as a Laker, which makes I'm losing faith in the NBA and the super teams. And I know that we're trying to create one, like we're trying to get him to come to play with us to do the same damn thing. If he goes to the Lakers, I don't know. I don't know.
Because
save the rate. Yeah.
They're making it that you have to do that, you know?
Yeah. I mean, the Nets put them in that position, you know?
If it wasn't for the injuries, we'd be watching the Nets versus the Lakers right now in the finals.
I'd still argue that the Lakers would lose, but they didn't have the great team this year.
I have enjoyed the playoffs a lot more.
Finals have been great.
Yeah, it's
2 amazing games back to back.
And yeah, if he ends up going there, I'm just gonna have more hatred for LeBron than I already have.
Absolutely. And I feel like that would be such an easy thing to do. And in the grand scheme of things, you know, the money would be right, obviously, but obviously the pursuit of the ring is the more important thing. And I think that could be done elsewhere. And obviously we're biased. I'd love to see him come here. I just don't know that he comes here without us having to lose Jalen.
Yeah. And I would rather keep Jalen.
Somebody threw up. I think Adam had thrown in our little.
Is it the one I sent? I
Oh
sent that
yeah, I'm
super
sorry,
long
yeah.
one. That's like,
yeah, you said, yeah.
to
Well,
even
basically,
out, it's like,
we get Damian Lillard, and we have to give up like
it was Brown, Smart, Neesmith, and like 4 or 5 picks.
Yeah.
Red
That was, like,
Auerbach,
the
Johnny
reasonable
Most,
one.
like everybody had to go. We were giving away dead bodies to get that deal done.
And we still wouldn't beat the Nets without Jalen. So
Yeah.
yeah,
They keep Bradley Beal's name keeps coming up.
Mhm.
But everything is getting trading Jaylen Brown. We don't get we may get a little better, but we don't get over that hump. We need to keep Tatum, Brown, and add one of these guys to the team.
correct.
We don't get that much better by subtracting one and adding one. It's not going to work.
I did see a lot of Dame to the Knicks, which would be a nice fit.
I don't know why he would want to go there. I thought, but I'll drive him to the Knicks if he wants to go there.
Well, so just knowing in my heart of hearts that he's not coming here, because you can already feel that's not happening. Like now I'm just sort of waiting for the shoe to drop and for it to be official with the Lakers. Who's the person that is out there that's not necessarily on our radar that if they did show up, you guys would be equally as excited or remotely close to equally excited?
So adding that he would come here, not giving up anyone on the
not losing a starter to bring this person in.
I think I like Bradley Beal. I was super happy when they got Kemba, but I didn't realize he was damaged goods when they got here. I was probably the head of the bandwagon for Kemba.
Yeah, me and him were very excited before Kemba. Like just the thought of him coming, we were very excited.
As soon as I heard his name out there as a free agent, I'm like, oh, I want Kemba Walker.
Because
that
he
was
lighting
like
it
the
up
one
in
person
Charlotte.
I wanted.
Yeah,
but I didn't realize his knee was as bad as it was. I still think he would have been a good fit, especially if we had Gordon Hayward still and we're adding him.
if we got our stuff together and everyone's healthy, we definitely would have at least made it to a finals.
Yeah, it's almost like we're back at the drawing board. Yeah. We're back where we were before we brought Hayward here.
Especially like this year, if we could have stayed healthy, like it was so open this year. Yep. No reason for us to not have been able to make it. And last year too, we were that close, and Bam Adebayo blocked Jason Tatum straight to hell. But back at square one.
It feels that way.
So basically, you figure. Once when they got Hayward, then they brought in Kyrie.
Yeah, when
we
got
rid of Kyrie, added Kemba, and we're like, okay, this should work. And now we lost Hayward, we lost Kemba,
and we have in return Kyrie. Al Horford. all that became Al Horford.
Oh yeah,
who we already had.
Yeah,
Al Horford 3 years older.
Yeah, I totally.
You woke up and you're like, wait a minute, when did you get back? Yeah,
right. It's
until
like
you just said his name, I sort of forgot that he was back.
I did too. It's almost we're right back. We are right back where we started.
If
just older.
If someone came up to you and said, like 3 years ago, we're gonna have Kyrie, Hayward, and Kemba all at one time, and in the end of it, all we're gonna get for it is Gordon as Al Horford.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, we traded Kyrie, Hayward, and Kemba for Horford. Yeah.
Oh boy. All right. Well, and obviously the predictions on basketball were set in stone, and I'm sure you wrote them down because you're the keeper of all the picks. I think I said Phoenix in 5, which I'm still holding to, even though it's mathematically impossible. I don't know. Like I feel like the other night was a turning point.
I think the only two that are still alive is
you and
Adam and myself. I had Suns in 7. He had Bucks in
6. Oh, 7. Okay.
Yeah, I think he said 7.
I had Suns in 6, and that's
yep. He's out.
I'm wearing this Penny Hardaway jersey to give them some life.
And that's
people watching this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which one of my rants this last few days was about how they're stringing this along so long.
Correct.
But the NBA always does that.
Yeah.
The NBA playoffs, they take a 7-day break in between two Phoenix games. They take even massive breaks. And I appreciate that because you can drag it out in the storyline and there's even more bullshit. Now, it's interesting that it is that they didn't augment it a little bit for the Olympics. Because this one, I mean, I know the team is already over there and already getting sick and all that. We'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't make a concerted effort to have it wrapped before the Olympics, right? So if there were some people that were involved in the finals that still wanted to be part of it, they could go.
It's because ESPN and the Disney family of networks has the NBA finals. NBC has
understood. Yes.
the Olympics. So they don't care. They want to be as relevant as possible for as long as
they can. Right. Yeah. Because Friday night it turns into
the
Peacock, which I'm dying to hear your rant about that.
God.
But go ahead.
The one thing that made a total sense is them not having a game until the Wednesday after the All-Star game, because that Wednesday night usually they have the ESPYs that night because there's nothing else on, but they moved the ESPYs to the weekend before, and they had NBA finals Sunday night and Wednesday night, which it made sense. If I was a network president, that's how I would have set things up. But now it's it's so drawn out, 2 games in between. It makes a little sense when you have travel days. Okay, right. I can give it to you on that. But when they have 2 games in Milwaukee and there's 2 days off in between those 2 games, that's a little ridiculous.
So I know you want to bitch about Peacock, and we're going to head there now, but I'm going to talk about the fact that for the longest time, there was NBC Sports Gold, which you could sign up and have NBC Sports Gold. And under that, you could have the PGA extra access, which I did for a while. You could have the cycling pass, which I do for all the cycling, ATB, all the bikes, right? And then the other thing is PLL lacrosse also was on there as well. Now that is all moved over to Peacock, which is, I guess it's interesting that they're doing that, and they were forcing their hand this past weekend, obviously. If you're going to watch Tour de France, you could watch it. And I prefer to watch it, quite honestly, outside of the fact that if you watch it on NBC Sports Network, they constantly changed up in the Chiron in the top. They will switch it from kilometers to miles back and forth because they're on American television. But if you watch it on Peacock, it's a different group of broadcasters for the most part, and everything's in kilometers because there's like it's a worldwide broadcast as opposed to an Americanized broadcast. The other half of that, they started on Peacock at 1:30 in the morning for the British Open. So I'm at the Cape getting 0 sleep because I'm like, well, I could go to bed. Like I was taking a nap. I'd get back up at 2:00. Janina wakes up. She's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, it's the British Open. Well, it's the Open. Sorry. Did you notice Colin Morikawa called it the British Open? And the crowd the crowd didn't get chippy, but you could tell the crowd he called it the British Open. Yeah. And to them, it's not the British Open, it's the Open.
Right.
And the US Open, which I thought was
I did notice the broadcaster they were set up in the States doing it from the studio. At one point he said Colin Montgomery instead of Colin Morikawa.
Oh yeah.
Monty.
Yeah, I'm like,
amazing.
Yeah, I don't think he's playing in the PGA anymore.
Yeah, no, he's not
he's
doing
in
that
senior
anymore.
the
champions
now.
Yeah, the champions.
Yeah, let's get it all right.
Call them seniors. That's offensive.
Got to be politically correct nowadays.
Yes, the champions.
Gotta be nice to the seniors.
So let's get into what was on Peacock first and foremost.
Okay.
The Tour de France, it was and his name, for the life of me, I find it's Pogacar. That's how it's Tadej Pogacar. They did say it so fast so many different times. Yep. And if you look at it, you're like, is that Pogacar or is that a hard G? It's Pogacar. He's Slovenian. He's now won back-to-back years. Unbelievable, complete and total stud. That was really cool to watch. The only thing that I was hoping would happen at some point, and it didn't happen because somebody stole it away in the final on Sunday, because Sunday's always a throwaway. It's already usually a fait accompli at that point, and they're sort of coasting the whole time, drinking champagne and taking pictures, and they're all talking. But when it gets to the end, somebody still could win the stage. And Mark Cavendish was looking to win his 35th stage, which he would have passed Eddie Merckx if he had done that.
Yeah, I watched the last four laps.
Yeah. If nothing else, like for the Tour de France, I mean, I watch it because I love cycling, but above and beyond that, I love just watching that, which and I have it on even during the week. I have it on in my office. I just put it up with the sound down while I'm having my meetings because it's on. It's just watching the countryside. It's if you're not even into cycling, just watching, and every time they go by a castle or anything, they'll tell you all the history of it. It's really cool. They are bringing back, which they had way back when, and they sunset it in '89. It's coming back next year. They're going to do Tour de Femmes. So there's going to be a women's Tour de France next year, starting in 2022, which is
I love that last stage when they're doing around the arch there.
It's amazing.
Yep. I've never really had a desire to go to Europe, but I do appreciate the architecture and the scenery over there.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. The other cool Tour of Flanders is a really cool tour that's in Belgium, and there's a whole stretch that is all cobblestones, which is horrifying if you're
like
on your
downtown
bike.
Lowell.
Yes, and then the other one that's coming up that they just had to postpone because of COVID is Paris-Roubaix, which is coming up, and that'll be all that stuff's on Peacock now. So they moved all that stuff over, but so that's that with the tour thing. What's that?
I said good luck.
Good. Yeah, I know. Because it's
so we were watching the pay-per-view last night on Peacock. So WWE used to have
it's got its own little thing up in the top. Yes,
they used to have WWE Network. They used to stream all the events on WWE Network, and about I think 6 months ago or so, they sold all their rights to Peacock. Yeah. So now all the pay-per-views and all that access is on Peacock. So we're watching.
Tyler, I should have known it came down to grappling. That's why he's mad at Peacock.
It froze up. It was glitching, and then it was horrible. And I went on Twitter, and everyone was 10 minutes ripping Peacock.
Everyone's picture was like this for a good. It was like for a good 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was awful.
It was like watching a pay-per-view via PowerPoint presentation. Like it was just.
Oh my god!
So then I remembered earlier in the day sitting watching the Open. And that was on NBC, which Peacock is part of that.
All
NBC
the same
group.
mess. Yep.
And they were having a bunch of glitches during that broadcast. I'm like, they have the Olympics. They better get their crap together.
Yeah.
Because they've been pushing this thing for years because it was supposed to happen last year.
Yeah.
So and it's like, okay, you were gonna do this last year, and I don't think you're ready to go this year with it. Yeah,
it's gonna be interesting. What I do love is when you look at the Chiron, if you go onto the Peacock app and you look across the top, the categories, one of them is sports, and then next to sports, not considered a sport apparently, is WWE.
Yeah. It's sports entertainment.
I appreciate that. I just thought it was really funny.
Don't get them on the tangent.
Yeah. Don't get them on a tangent.
And you can't even like rewind on the live broadcast and stuff.
Yeah, it's
so if you got work at you work till 8 and you get home and you miss 30 minutes of it, best of luck to you. Go to hell.
Yeah, that's
you can't record it on your DVR, and you can't like go back on the stream. Like on the WWE Network, you had an option to start from the beginning, or you could start where it was or rewind it. There was so many different things
you can rewatch it at freaking 12 in the morning when it ends.
Speaking of recording, you're gonna love this. You know where I'm going with this. Here comes Cheryl, right? So we're leaving the Cape Saturday. Janina and Aiden went to Connecticut because he had what turned out to be, he was supposed to be a 1 day, turned into a 2 day because they needed him for another team. So he went with Janina to Connecticut for 2 days to play lacrosse with his club team. And then Francis and I drove north, and we stopped in Chelmsdale, and we go see my mom. And we started to go down the rabbit hole of all the stuff she records. Like, God bless, she opens up the DVR, and she's got the Champions Tour, the Corn Ferry Tour. And I'm like, wait a minute, what, like, there were like 5 iterations of the Corn Ferry Tour. I'm like, what? She's like, I just put it on in the background. No, I love that. Like, that's the best. But like, we're a household, like the wife and I, on the weekend, the TV in the bedroom goes on, and it's just sort of on all day while we're doing stuff. And we're switching between sports. Like, it's just on as background music. We're not like attentively viewing, right?
But we have The Office on most of the time with like that.
I laugh because she's like, oh no, I'll go watch it later. So I texted her yesterday, And I said, flipping back and forth between the Open and Tour de France. I said, what a morning. And she wrote, and it was like 12-ish or whatever, but and she wrote back, and my sister Stephanie had gone down to do some stuff with I don't know, something with her paperwork and all the stuff that Cheryl's messing with the estate stuff. And she's like, we're at Soul Kitchen, by the way. If you're in Massachusetts, anywhere in the Westford area, Soul Kitchen is. You guys been to Soul Kitchen?
No, I haven't.
Oh, do that twice. So good. So they were there, and she goes, I'm recording everything. I'll watch it later. Like, that's brain damage to me. Like, when I'm driving home and I know, and she wouldn't know, but like, if she's gonna go home in a bubble. But if I'm driving home and I know Colin Morikawa won it, I'm not gonna go back and watch the 4th round of the Open. I'm just not doing it.
So last night,
just like the in-laws.
So we had Opa down to watch some of the pay-per-view last night, and so I asked him. I wanted to talk about the Red Sox from the day before. I'm like, oh, have you finished watching it yet? And he's like, oh, shut up.
Well, it's that, and two, right? He'll record, like, let's say he'll record the Monday Night Raw, right? Monday night, and I'll come up Tuesday morning to watch it with him, and it's ridiculous. This took place 8 hours ago from when it was recorded, and he'll open the DVR and he has to go down like 15 things to get to it. Like, it's ridiculous. Every single day is sitting there and watching 87 recordings.
Here's my and God bless him.
I don't know if I'm looking forward to,
because like clearly my mom's into that too, and I appreciate, like, if that's your jam, cool. I think it hit me when I said to Janina a few years ago, like, the moment I start to view my DVR and unviewed shows, like unread emails at my office, that's what, like, it's no longer a source of entertainment. Now it's like an anxiety building up in me. Like, I'm now going in, and this is something that I've done in the past. If there's a show, like, I think Netflix have sort of blown, Netflix and Apple and a few of the other online entertainment companies have blown this up, because what they'll do is they'll at first, Apple was doing segmented out week by week, but now they're doing full drops. Like, Netflix will drop a whole show, right? All 8 or 10 episodes. And I love that. If it's a great show, you hate it because you blow through, like, House of Cards back in the good old days. You blow through House of Cards in 12 minutes, right? That being said, I find it fascinating when I find out, if I've got a show, if I have 12 episodes of, Tyler Corey Productions, and I'm going to go start to watch it, and I find out that weeks after its first season, it got canceled, I no longer am going to invest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you did that with it. You did that with a show last year.
Yeah,
it was hilarious.
A show I think it was on Amazon, Utopia. I watched the whole first season. So I watched the whole season. It was awesome.
I have no idea.
So I go online to see when the second season was coming out. It got canceled. I'm like, are you kidding me?
I kept walking back and forth for like 2 days straight, because this is like lockdown period. So he's been home. Watched the whole thing. It was 2 days straight. And then I just hear, like, what the hell?
Yeah, well, and I think the use of your time is a little bit different during COVID lockdowns. And I think, honestly, like, if we're going to, if you think about it, like, all right, if I know in 13 months I'm not going to be dating her anymore, I'm just not going to start dating her. Like, if she's breaking up with me, I'm not going to invest any time in this relationship. That always kills me. And I mean, and ask my wife, I watch some of the shittiest programming. Like, she's like, why do you watch this show? And
every movie he watches.
Well, there's some shows.
Killer Clowns Outer Space.
Oh, yes.
You got the pops right behind him.
Killer
Clowns from Outer Space. Great B movie.
If we're going to remain friends, and remain is a loose and flowing term right now, what are you talking about?
It's
Killer
like the
Clowns
cheesiest
and watch what you say, because this is going to go out into the internet. The state's watching. They're going to come take Little Shoes away from you. Like, what are we talking about right now?
So do you remember the show on USA on Friday and Saturday nights, USA Up All Night?
Sure.
And they would play, they had Gilbert Godfrey was host at one point.
Yeah.
And Elvira and stuff.
Yes.
So they host it, and they just play the cheesiest horror movies.
Yes.
That are out there.
Yeah.
So I loved watching
Shaun of the Dead, stuff like that.
Yeah. So stuff like that. So this movie, I think it came out in the early 90s, and I just found out about it like a year ago.
Open the
and I watched it, and it's like number one on the
I saw 5
B
minutes of it
movies.
and I was done.
It is so cheesy, but it's so cheesy. It's supposed to be scary. Like these movies are supposed to be, but it's so cheesy you can't help but laugh.
And
it's
now
the
there's
funniest thing.
the whole pop collection and a T-shirt in this household now. So
Oh my God! Well,
it's entertainment.
Well, so we have all the movie channels, right? So I'm finding poor programming on everything. So there's a show on Stars called Power. Have you ever seen Power on Stars? No. Terrible. Janina hates it. That's over. Although I think they brought it back, and she's like, "You're not going to start watching that again." There's one on Showtime. Showtime typically has really good stuff, and this show was good until it jumped the shark because there was a real life problem on the set between an actor and an actress, and they both left the show. Yeah, not great. He had trouble finding his dressing room and kept finding hers. But anyway, and the script sort of went up in flames, but they're pressing forward with this, and it's called The Chai. It's about Chicago. And it was good. And I was watching an episode the other day. I'm like, why am I still doing this? And I just went in a delete because it's not going to get any better, and it's probably not going to get renewed. And I was sort of in that, like, if this relationship is over, I think. But yeah, that's interesting. It is. So my mother right now is probably watching a Con Ferry round 3 from like 9 months ago. And then we found what was it? The Barbazol Championship this weekend.
Oh yeah.
Which was the stateside. If you don't want to go over the pond and play in the open, it's the replacement tournament for this weekend. And I'm like, this isn't Corn Ferry. It's not champions. I'm like, these are guys they just didn't want to go across the pond, which is interesting. Anyway.
Well, speaking of going up in flames, Team USA or the Red Sox, whichever one you want to pick first.
Let's talk about Team USA. The basketball is an absolute concern. I think between basketball, Coco Gauff is now not playing because she is tested positive. God bless her, 17 years old, because she'd probably go over there and do quite well, quite honestly. An alternate, not thank God it's not, I'm going to draw a blank on her name now. The number 1 gymnast on the U.S.
Simone.
Yeah, Simone's amazing. She it's not her, but it's a replacement. My concern is, and they're probably all segregated right now. My concern is if one of them gets sick, they're going to be together at some point. So I feel like between now and we are cutting the show right now on a Monday, between now and Friday, I think it can get a lot worse. Look what just happened with baseball, just from them getting together with the All-Star break.
Yep.
Right.
And there were no rules in Colorado. I was like, oh, go out, do this, do that. Like that, like they're not. And I, I'm no judgment. Like if you are vaccinated or not vaccinated, to each their own. But I think we're starting to play loose and flowing in this environment where it's clearly coming back. Like the Delta variant is alive and well. And I hate to say it out loud, but I think we're going to go right back to just in time for September. Some schools aren't going to open nationwide.
Yeah.
Not nationwide. I'm saying across the country in certain sections. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Everyone just started forgetting. What?
Yeah. The numbers are going the wrong way. That's for sure. Right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
People saw that ticker start going down and immediately just dropped it.
And they'll say one of the pops was a Memorial Day. They're going to say this what we're seeing right now is from 4th of July, even though it was always a 2-week window where we're right there right now, right? Yeah, we're 2 weeks away from the 4th of July, right? So the numbers are going to pop again. Speaking of popping, is Popovich a good coach? Like, and yes, he is, but is he
for this
clearly
environment?
Some people that have been great coaches have tried to do the Olympic thing and it didn't work. And is he struggling with this?
I don't think so. They won their last 2 games. I think they're still. They
just needed a wake up call.
Yeah, but even that, I think he's probably, seeing what group's gonna work the best with each other. Tinkering with stuff, just seeing what happens. So I'm not too concerned. Plus, they did have the season just ended for a lot of them, and then they're going right into this. So I could see how the players are kind of like, maybe just walking through it until it's for real.
Yeah. I mean, I still think that they definitely will take it home as long as everyone stays healthy, which another thing that the board and Olympics are doing to try to keep people from getting sick too is for athletes who, there's a lot of times athletes who have seen the ladies of the night. They've made their beds are cardboard, like underneath the mattress, it's just straight cardboard, so they can't I don't know if you saw that. It's
No.
wild. Yeah, they made the bed frame and like all that. It's just made of cardboard. So if you go and jump on the bed, it's going. You're about to sleep on, and that's it. They don't want any.
They want you to sleep gracefully. Well,
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll engineer something to make that work in their favor. They did it in the bubble. That was a big thing in the bubble. There were a lot of Instagram models that found their way into the bubble. So,
and even I heard Jimmy Butler in the ESPN, the girl that was in Rachel. That was I don't know if you heard that rumor too. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I guess somehow with that, and they had a noise complaint, and they checked on him, and he was like sweating and claimed that he was dribbling a basketball. But is what it is.
He was with Rachel Nichols?
Yeah, that's what the rumor. The rumor came out like the same day as she got in all the heat.
Interesting.
Wow.
All right.
I did not hear that one.
Yeah, I'm dear Mr. Butler, I'm not impressed. I don't know. whole bunch of people I'd rather sweat to an interview with than Rachel Nichols.
A hit.
Yeah, it's a hit. Wow. Took it right there. Speaking of a lack of hitting over the weekend.
Yeah.
I jinxed us. Of course, we check in, and I started texting you guys coming back from the Cape, and I'm like, what are we hitting on Monday? Blah, 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 blah. And I just put sock sweep because I was so confident.
It looked good Friday night.
Looked great. I've always felt this way. I've always felt like if we go into the break en fuego, it is always a problem on the other side. I think this team is far too talented. I think there's too much juju. I think getting on base and waving to the dugout, the home run cart. I think there's a lot of cool stuff that reminds me of the idiots of 2004. Yeah. I think this team is wired differently. I'm not concerned about a total meltdown. And I also, for the Yankees, I would say, could this weekend have been a turning point for them? And I would say yes. Because it took Jason Varitek punching Alex Rodriguez in the face, and that was our turning point, right? It was this seminal moment that everything just changed. And if they found their juju in the last couple of days, making us look like morons, and that's what the Yankees always are. It's either a 2-1 game that goes to 3 a.m, or it was 9-1 the other night.
That was 9-1.
For the love of God, I'd rather watch Corn Ferry.
And even
delay.
Whatever our nicknames for my mother, we have, it's probably 10 different shoes names. She even said
mother shoes.
She even said before the break, like, watch they'll find a way, because everyone was burying the Yankees like, there's no need to worry about them. And I feel like it was kind of predictable. What we didn't think about is that they would come out, and when we had a chance to close them out, they just came out and fired up, and all of a sudden seemed to be a team that they should be. But
and I think even more so, there's a larger opportunity for them to be part of it because they're keeping the expanded wild card. There's a second wild card team again this year, right? So they're keeping that.
Yeah,
so
they suck, but they still have a shot,
Yeah, so we're definitely going to see them. If not them, Tampa Bay. And honestly, I don't want a World Series where there's an asterisk. I mean, you didn't go through the Yankees. Like, there's always those people. So if we have to go through the path of worst resistance to get there, that's fine. And I'll take it. I love it. I think it sort of felt like is it Hal? I don't even know which Steinbrenner is screwing things up down there right now. It's Hal, right?
Yeah.
The remaining son, because the other one passed away as well. Yeah. I think he, in his disconnection, because his dad was so involved, and who am I thinking of from the Dallas Cowboys? Jerry Jones. He was like the Jerry Jones. He was Jerry Jones before Jerry Jones was Jerry Jones, right? Steinbrenner was heavily involved.
Yep.
I think Hal's just sort of like meh, and I think that translates to the field a little bit, because Cashman, like, if I told you Cashman was dead or wasn't the GM anymore, would you be shocked? Like, I had to be reminded sort of that he's still there, where he used to be part of that evil empire, and like that's not a thing anymore, So And I still feel as a fan, it's still very much a rivalry. And people that feel differently about it now, I disagree.
I don't. So there's no need to panic. If you look at the
Write
way
that down, Tyler. No need to panic.
If you look at their season so far, they're in first place. They've had these dips so far already this season. They've had the, like, you're going in on you're like, oh wow, they're like doing really good, and then we're playing Kansas City and they lost 2 out of 3 to Kansas City, and you're like, oh well, that's like one of the worst teams. What they're gonna stay afloat. They're gonna be right where they need to be come the end of the season. We're gonna add Chris Sale. Hopefully they now that Christian Arroyo went, that they were trying to put Christian Arroyo at first base because Dahlback has been hitting so bad.
Yep.
But in the first inning, he ends up straining his groin, stretching for a ball, and he's probably going to end up on the injured list. So hopefully they go out and I'm not looking for a super splash in the trade deadline. I'm just looking for them to add pieces here and there, like the David Roberts we added in 2004.
Yes.
We didn't need, they traded Nomar and got Cabrera. It wasn't, they traded probably one of their biggest superstars for a good, solid player.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't need a superstar here. We just need to add a couple little minor things. And I think they're going to be fine.
I'd love Rizzo back. That'd be, I mean,
I would too.
I'd love Rizzo back.
But what are they going to have to give up to give him? I don't see Heim Bloom getting rid of all the prospects that he just got over the last season. He's trying to build it up.
Yeah,
and he's not going to give everything up
because Dombrowski came in and got us a trophy, but he shredded the farm to do it.
I mean, Jaron Duran, he could be a key part. In 04,
first at bat, he got a hit. It was awesome.
Ellsbury came up in 04. It joined that team.
Right. Yep.
So I think we're good. It hurts a little more when it happens to the Yankees when you lose 2 out of 3, especially when you've just won 7 in a row against them, and then you lose. You forget about that. We just won 7 in a row. So okay, 2 games, and that game Saturday. I don't know. Did you get to see any of that game? The rain.
That one, yeah.
And then that was also the fan interference.
Yeah. So they had first
whether it was or not.
They have a 50-minute delay to start the game.
Yep.
It doesn't rain in that 50 minutes. They start the game, it starts raining. So they waited almost an hour to play and no rain, and then they started playing. They played the whole game in the rain.
And then Verdugo got beamed. That was Saturday night as well, right? Verdugo takes a baseball to the back.
He gets hit in the back. They take the guys out the field.
They talk him back onto the field. It's still pouring. It was so stupid.
That it should have been called before that inning was over, but they had it in their mind. We're gonna finish this inning so we can call it a complete game at the end of the inning. So
absolutely,
it was
3-1 at that point.
Yes,
it was a done deal. They weren't coming back out when that top went up. I was like, nah, this is gonna be a done deal.
Yeah, I think they didn't have a good angle on that guy reaching over because obviously I'm a Red Sox fan, so I think he was over and brought that in. But I don't think they had a good angle where they could actually see where it hit him and had it, because it hit him and then it hit him up here and it caromed up.
Yep.
So I believe where it hit him, it would have hit the wall
and bounced into the stands.
It does, yeah.
Yeah. And if it hits the top of the wall, is there a yellow line out there that determines that it would be gone?
I think they have called that a double? They don't have that line. If it hits the wall, it would have fallen back into the field. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know if you meant
like it wouldn't have hit the top of the
top and in. No, you meant top and down back into the field. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But we also shouldn't
be in a position where we have to worry about fan interference causing the game to be a win or a loss.
Right.
Like they're just better than that.
So that's another thing. So Saturday and Sunday, they only scored 1 run in each game. Your bats go cold every once in a while.
Yep.
and that happens. And that's what happened to us the couple other times where they didn't have, they lost 2 out of 3. They lost 2 out of 3. Their bats going to come alive. Their bats are going to be on more than they're off the rest of the season. Their pitching has been pretty good. You add in Chris Sale to it. Erod looked really good Friday night.
Yep.
So I think he's turning the corner. I heard something, one of the stat geeks on one of the radio stations where he said that Erod has had the worst luck. Like he had some analytic to it to add to it that, anything that could go wrong went wrong. He didn't have run support. He had errors. He had this and that. Everything that could go wrong went wrong.
Yep.
And so he had the worst of the worst to start the season, and he's probably gonna end up doing better going forward. I'm fine. We're still half game in first place. After they lost 6 of their last 8 games, and they're still a half game in first place. And there's still 6 games in the lost column over the Yankees.
Yep.
It's more of they should be fine, all good. I just, stay wary. Don't take the foot off the gas. These losses can pile up.
Yeah, it would have been nice to, they came in 10 ahead of the Yankees. It would have been nice to leave 13 ahead of the Yankees, or 14 if they didn't have the COVID game Thursday night.
What starts tonight? Toronto?
Yes, Toronto in Buffalo.
Oh, yeah.
So they're in Buffalo for another. So I think this might be the last series Toronto's in Buffalo, because then Toronto goes on the road. They'll be in Fenway next week.
Yep.
And then I think July 31st, they start in Toronto.
Hosting. Yeah. Well, I just saw a headline that said fully vaccinated U.S. citizens can now cross the border.
Yeah, we'll see now with all the people that have.
Who knows? I thought it was odd
that
that headline hit
2
today.
weeks.
People that are vaccinated are still getting COVID. So
who knows?
Are they going to come out and just say it's like the flu? Some people are going to get it. Some people are going to get sick.
Are you excited about your booster shot?
Raise
your hand if you're not getting the booster shot.
Yeah, this isn't the U.S. Board of Health podcast.
Holy smokes. Holy smokes.
I don't know what to think nowadays. Yeah.
All right. Expansion draft.
Okay.
The Seattle Kraken.
So I guess they just name the players that So I heard like 4 or 5 players on the radio earlier today, and then I just looked at the list, and there's a list of like 30 players on here that are available. But
from the Bruins organization,
I think the key players are. Well, it says it's these. Connor Clifton. Oh, where's the defense? Oh no, those are protected players. Sorry.
Great air.
He's so good.
Lausanne is available.
Yeah, Lausanne. Yep.
Connor Clifton. I
heard one other name today. I can't remember who it was.
Oh man, what's his name? I don't see it on here, but
Terry O'Reilly.
There's like 3 young players that they're worried about that they might lose. It was Lausanne, Clifton, and there's one other younger player, Stepnica maybe.
Okay. And Halaka's gone. See that?
Yeah. He's a free agent.
Yeah.
So I think they were pretty much figured he wasn't
ready for Swayman to be coming in. Yeah.
It's their big question mark is whether or not they're going to sign Tuukka, even though he's going to be out for
January.
Like
he's not
year.
back until January, right?
Yeah. So, are they going to sign a veteran, or are they just going to go with Vladar and Swayman? I think that's what they should do. Go with those 2 guys, and then when Tuukka's ready to come back, then you figure out what to do.
Right.
I think those 2 they look like they handled it pretty well when Tuukka was out at the end of the season.
Yep. Wrestling.
Okay. Yeah. So we went to, we've dubbed it, the batting cage wrestling. Friday night. Tyler and I went.
Where was that? Well, growing up though, like you and Matty DeVoe, we used to always call it rafter wrestling, right? Like just it was always in some venue. Like and honestly, like there were rafters where you guys were for sure, right? Like that was like
they used to. So a lot of the rafter wrestling, it's like usually it's at a American Legion or an Elks or
all these buildings.
You can't go off the top rope because if you go off the top rope, you hit the light.
Yeah. So in Lowell, it used to be at the Polish American Veterans Club.
Yeah, and they did at the Woburn Elks, both buildings.
Yeah. So the PAV ended up closing. So then they found a new venue in Lowell. So that one was at Game Time Sports, which during their normal operating times, they have 2 basketball courts in there.
Now there's a ring in the middle.
And they have batting cages, but they set up the ring they set up the ring on the basketball courts, but the batting cages are still being used.
Yeah, well, people are playing cricket.
Yeah.
That's
well,
the
you guys
picture
that video. And
the video,
what is happening right now?
There's like 10 guys in there. They're all like taking turns pitching to the guy that's trying to hit. And I'm like, oh my God, you can't even make this stuff up.
It's something else.
Hilarious. And then it's
a situation you'd never think you'd be in your life.
No.
But the thing is, it's like you always end up in these like sketchy venues, but the product that's in the ring is very good. If anyone's even into wrestling a little bit and they're looking to bring their kids to a nice event that's
wait a minute,
I like how you said nice
reasonably priced. This is Chaotic Wrestling. It's a local promotion in the Merrimack Valley area. It's a great take. It is. If because most kids at some point get into wrestling for a little bit.
Yes.
They don't stay forever like Tyler or myself, but they'll have
that little... I would argue you, Tyler, Matty DeVoe, his son Colin, and without fail, Coach K, Kevin Branco. All about it. Like absolutely still watching Friday Night Raw, Saturday morning Raw, Sunday afternoon. Holy crap, it's still on. All of it.
But it's a good cheap take if you want to bring your kids at that time. It's very fan friendly.
Even if you don't care about it at all and you're just bored and have $20, it's fun.
Yes. Some of the crowd there is very entertaining.
Well, I was just going to say to you, and we're absolutely going to be going this winter because we haven't been to the Gloves since the winter before my dad passed. Right. So we haven't been yet. And Cameron was just asking, he's like, are we ever going to the Gloves again? I'm like, yes. I said, Uncle Rubber Shoes absolutely wants to go back to the Gloves. So
I forgot I was employed there. I still am.
Absolutely be going back to the Gloves. And it's the same thing. It's $18-20.
Right.
You are in beautiful downtown Lowell, surrounded by the salt of the earth. Right.
Yep.
Yeah. And
most beautiful waters you can.
Yeah. And the fighting, these kids are going to go on to the nationals and onto the Olympics. It's legit. And to your point, Chaotic Wrestling is it's the minor leagues to get kids towards on the pathway to the WWE. I laughed because you said the product in the ring was so great. And all I'm remembering is that you guys sent us, we get a text message with the video and it's the guy up on the ladder.
Oh yeah. I sent a video. Oh, yeah.
The ladder drop and Adam's watching it like he's like freaking out. I'm like, oh yeah, I saw it. And there was somebody else was sliding a second ladder into the ring.
Oh yeah.
With context, I need to make clear that there was Hershey Kisses dumped onto that table that they shoved in.
Oh my God. It's very entertaining. Yeah. It was worth the money.
I saw a guy flailing hanging from the ceiling and come 5 inches from getting impaled by a ladder falling. But yeah. Not always. Ones with matches like that where their budget is $50 and they don't have the team that won, they got on the ladder and the thing was like this and it like started tipping. I thought I was gonna see people die. It was good entertainment.
Yep,
absolutely. Hey, before we jump off of here, real quick on the Patriots. What is your vote? What is your concern with this is the line from Macbeth? Methinks the lady doth protest too much. His constant, and I mean Cameron, his constant reference points to the fact that he was injured. He's never been 100%. Like, I don't like, and he, perfect student. He's saying the Patriots have been impeccable was a quote from this week. Like, where do you guys stand on him right now? Because I just feel like it's been so much talk about it in the last week or so about what they should do. I'd love to see him have an opportunity. I don't think it's for long. So to my earlier point about the show that I know got canceled, let's just start the new show. Like I live in that camp, and I also think he's been a good citizen, and I would love to see him have some success, and I'd love to see him give Mac a little breathing room. And I'm also completely fine if he's not here for game one. I shouldn't say not here. I don't think he's here riding the bench and still a happy camper.
No, yeah.
He's not a model citizen if he's not starting.
I think the best for the franchise is Cam Newton making it through the whole season and let Mac learn as much as possible in the background and then take over next year. Unless Cam gets hurt, I foresee him definitely being the starter week one. And they kind of have 3 cupcakes to start off. So he's probably going to go 3-0 to start off the season. And then they test Brady
Sunday night.
Exactly like last year.
Even if you lose to the Bucks, as long as it's not, like 40-7 and you can't move the ball at all, you're kind of expecting them to lose to the Bucks. So if he goes 3-1, and then I think they have another cupcake after that. I don't have the schedule in front of me, but I was listening to a show this weekend that was going over the schedule, the first 6 or 7 games, and he's like, if Cam Newton's starting, they're probably starting out 6-1, 5-2.
Yeah, and you're apparently healthy now. You've apparently figured out the playbook. Yep. You no longer, quote unquote, no longer have COVID fog. You've got a ton of tools around you, like a ton of tools around you.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any excuse. The other argument is, would they go hybrid and do a lot of wildcat stuff?
Like
I think Josh McDaniels wouldn't be against it. I just don't know if that's a universe that Bill Belichick would want to play in.
Yeah, where they have to bringing in those tight ends and receivers, and I don't know if
a gadget play route here and there where you don't know who they're going to snap to or whatever.
They can't run the ball 90% of the time.
Yeah.
You'll have a lot of upset receivers in the locker room.
It was different last year when our best receiver was Julian Edelman having to get carted out on the field every single week.
And as they probably know better than we do, if you don't have a happy locker room, it doesn't usually
transpire well to the field.
Yep.
So you want to keep everyone as happy as possible.
Yep.
And but he's gonna have to be able to throw.
Yeah,
we'll see. We're gonna see preseason. We'll be able to see more, and if he's as horrible as the couple videos they showed, like we talked about earlier in our season, that they were just picking like the same 2 throws, and it's like, okay, you had 2 bad throws. Let me see the other. I'm sure he had like 100 other throws in camp. So we'll see when he's on TV during the preseason, see how they do. And I know you had said something about it. I don't know if you were definitely doing this, but I know that the training camp is going to be open to the public next week, I believe. Are you planning on coming down to try to go to a day?
We don't have anything carved out. Not that I know of right now.
We're on vacation next week, so if it's going to be a decent day, I think we're going to definitely try to get to a day. Down there.
Are you guys heading to the Cape again, or what are you doing?
No, so because of COVID last year, we didn't get the place, and then this year we were kind of on the ropes, wondering, and then they never called us to see if we wanted it. So that's one thing I need to talk to you off the air is about the place that you've been going, and what's the situation there, because we may be looking for a new place to go to next year.
Oh, we love the place that we're at in Brewster. The best part about it is we're about 20 feet off the sand.
See, that's what
And
Looks
that was
really
that made
nice,
all
yeah.
the difference this past week, because obviously the weather was a challenge, but we're
So
so
you-
close, and it's private. So when we get there, we bring down our tent. Remember the tan tent you bought way back in the
Oh.
day for Patriots games? Still,
Oh yeah.
still
Yep.
going. Started to officially fall apart this past trip, but we set that up and we put all of our chairs down there. And then when we're done for the day, we fold up. We have two zero gravity chairs. We fold those up and lay them flat, and then we just push the tent together and put it on top of those, and we drop the two camp chairs inside the tent to keep it from blowing away. Nobody touches it. So we don't have to, even our short journey to the beach, we don't have to truck stuff down there, which is
So
super cool.
from the house you stay in, can you see the water?
From our deck over the dune grass, you can see the water.
Okay.
And if you leave our deck, you walk down the driveway, you cut across this, not even cut across the circle. It's directly from the end of our driveway. There's sand up over the dune, down our little camp setup. So honestly, I mean, and Aiden could correct me on this, you're from our door to getting your feet wet, if it's high tide, 40 yards.
Oh, okay.
And the best part about when it's low tide is if you look at the overview, you can definitely see it even when the tide's in. If you look like Google Earth, massive sandbars.
Oh, nice.
So at low tide, Janina will go with like Cameron, and they will walk out. She's walked out. She's tracked it on her watch. She'll walk out like a mile.
Wow.
It's unbelievable at low tide. It's crazy. And I mean, as you get out there, it starts to go up, but like it's not past your waist really. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
We love it, and it's the management's great, and we've always had a good experience the entire time. Outside, I think it was our first year or our second year when Cameron got hit on the rail trail.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Outside of our trip to Children's Hospital for a
Yeah,
broken leg
yeah.
and a broken face after he got hit by a car on the rail trail, which is all our fault. But anyway, it's been great. We love Brewster. It's far enough down the Cape, it's in the elbow. Janina loved it because
we
it's
always
Bayside.
stayed at Yarmouth.
Yep.
Is where we were always at. So
Yep.
All right, I'll have to get that information from you.
Yeah, I'll absolutely put you in touch because I don't know what the availability is. I'm sure it's opened up a little bit, only for the fact that some people pieced out probably last year. Like we went last year and they did a couple of things differently last year and this year because of COVID. This was a little more open. But I know some people that might have pieced out and maybe lost their spot, but I'll certainly give you the contact info. We love it. It's awesome. Awesome. Super chill, wicked private.
Nice.
Phenomenally private. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome. All right. Well, there's my rant about the Cape. Now you're making me wish I was back there. Like this is the toughest day. The reentry burn coming back from the Cape on a Monday. I'm in the office. Everybody's like, "How's your vacation?" I'm like, "Too short."
Yep.
Too
Always.
short. Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, you're one of the reasons it's too short, actually. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, zero complaints. All right. Well, we appreciate everybody hanging out with us. Thank you for checking out the show. For sure. Share with your friends if you're enjoying the content. You can always check out all of the programming at atbshow.com. And then, of course, our link tree, which is embedded in the bio on Instagram, which is at ATB Show. And there every morning you get the Rubber Shoes wrap up and rant, where Billy talks about pontificates about his challenge with Peacock.
Yep. And look for all the belts.
Yes, all the belt. Yes. We the seminal episode was yesterday, right? Yes, all the belts. So we're gonna have a spin-off show with all the belts, talking about UFC stuff, wrestling stuff, boxing stuff, all of the stuff that you might not get in the big show at a deeper dive. Anything that happens in the octagon or the squared circle will take place at all the belts, which is also at atbshow.com. Go to that same YouTube channel and you'll see a new line of programming with all the belts, which is super cool. So thank you for joining us. Share with your friends. Please hit that subscribe button. And if you are watching the show and you've got comments to make, we'd love for you to comment. It helps the algorithm. And I hate to say this, haven't heard from Derek. Apparently he died making our hat. So I'm going to reach out to him. We will have merch sometime before Christmas, God willing. But other than that, We'll be back next week. I think are you guys are on vacation next week?
Yeah, but we're gonna be local probably, so we'll be good.
You'll be good. So back on Monday, we'll have I do believe Uncle Dukes has some new broadcast equipment on Monday, which is exciting. And Adam will be back in the chair on Monday as well. So a full slate of foolishness next week for you. Thanks for joining the show, and we'll see you in and around the internet. Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Bye.